Hello and welcome to LittleLee and Rose. Today we're going to do some homemade molds using silicone from your local hardware store. Start with room temperature water, a lot of soap in the water. The soap is going to act as an emollient and keep the silicone from being sticky. And then knead it. You can see here I'm just kneading it back and forth. You want to knead it quite a bit. Once it gets to a nice firm texture, you're going to just place it down on your table. I have a silicone mat here that I actually added some soapy water down underneath the mold so that it doesn't stick to my silicone mat. I also added glitter just in the back of the mold. And then I placed and pushed the cat down. You saw me use a spoon for the more narrow spots. This next one, I added a little bit of dye to the silicone. I kneaded it a whole lot down to where the point it was a nice firm texture. I'm making a little rhinestone tray here. It's a little bit thicker, so I used a little bit more of the silicone. When you push it in, when you're doing a item like this, you're going to want to go in at an angle so that you don't end up with an air bubble at the end. Then what I'm doing here is I'm kind of pressing the silicone around the edges, building up the edges nice and high so that we get a good mold. Now here we are the next day. The mold has cured up and become firm. I'm going to go ahead and peel the item out of the silicone mold. I'm going to do this nice and gently so I don't tear the mold. And you can see there, that's what we got left for the little rhinestone holder. And we're going to remove the cat. And here we go. We've got that. Again, we have a little glitter backing just to add the little glitz and glam. Then I just trim around the outside. I've added just a little bit of shimmer to the epoxy here to give it a little glitz and glamour. You can see here what I'm doing is bending the silicone back and folding it out. That's just going to help the epoxy get down into all the grooves and kind of work its way into all the little spaces that you need to work in just by opening and bending the space. One of the points I want to make out is that you got to really knead this silicone quite a bit. You didn't see me do it as much as needed because I had the whole thing sped up in high speed. But you really want to work that silicone for quite a while before you try to use it and put your item down inside of it. That way it is more on the firm level and it doesn't just kind of squeeze out everywhere. But now I'm just going to add a little bit of epoxy dye to this, and we're just going to go ahead and pour it right into the protection cat mold. And what we're going to do is we're going to pour these in. We're going to let them sit overnight. You can also see here that I'm using a little silicone tool to clean up the mold as I go. It just kind of helps clean up the edges. I've got a baby wipe and a little silicone tool. We do sell these silicone tools on our website. They're great for working with molds. These homemade silicone molds work really good. They're just kind of something fun to try and make, especially if you have something around the house that you want to try to make a mold of. You can see with the cat, my table was a little bit unlevel, so it kind of went out on the edges. But I'm just going to take my snippers and go ahead and trim that off. If you have more questions, just join my Facebook group.